got something questionable thing. Like, is this it?
No, that's something else. Let me, hold on. I don't know why that's not coming through all of a sudden. New mail.
Oh, is it? Alright, there's your opening. Andrea Hawkins bios. These are the last. Yeah, perfect. I can use this too. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You're ready. You're all set. I have your bio on my phone, ready to rock and roll. Okay. I think we're good. I'm getting ready. As soon as she comes in with this, we can get this party started.
Okay, that sounds good.
Oh, thank you. I had to. I appreciate it.
You have to wear heels too on top of it all.
Well, I have like it slims me down when I'm gonna have to be on the TV screen.
Fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. Woo.
Even more beautiful in this moment.
Because it doesn't start that way when I'm stressed. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, I'm the direct opposite of you and Kristen. I'm very, very like, kind of like this.
Well, I'm good, and then I don't sleep the night before, and then I'm like,
and then you're exhausted.
Yeah, then I'm like, shit has to get done, and then then got to turn it on. You're good. I think you're good. You want to sit down and enjoy the panel? You're not gonna get up anymore. Thank you. If they do, if Chris Hansen walks in, keep your gloves right there so they know that we were here. Good morning.
Good morning.
You ready?
There's probably a little over half that registered that are here, but I think that this is good. Some people are still trickling in, but I would just, do you want to maybe like start at 9:05?
Yeah,
so do you
I'll
want to
get
start
them up
together?
on the...
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
You guys want to make your way up on the stage, and I'm going to start at 9:05. Okay.
I'm still taking my friend.
So your question, I came back to help my husband.
Is this Grecia right here, and the black over here, and the glasses?
Yes,
Morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming.
You want me in the end?
Yeah, come to the end. Yeah, come to the end.
Is there some place you want a particular order?
No, I don't.
That way?
Yeah, actually, hold on. Let me see. I'll tell you. Yeah, that order is fine. That order will work. Wait, go one more. Go like that. That'll work. That'll work. So then I click in order. This side of mic, and then you guys can share a mic to go back and forth. All right. Yep. Good morning, ladies. My name is Adrienne Billing-Smith. I am the equity coordinator for the town of West Hartford out of the Office of Equity Advancement. I would like to thank you all so much for being here today. This is our first, hopefully soon to be annual Women and Empowering Women in Small Business event. We thought it was important. I want to take a moment and thank Kristen Gorski, Lauren Siegel, and Rose Ponte. We thought it was important to bring you all together and acknowledge the hard work that you do as business owners and entrepreneurs, and just celebrate you this month. So happy Women's History Month. So I would also like to thank West Hartford Community Interactive for taking this time this morning to make sure that this is live streamed so people in our communities can see this wonderful panel that we have today. We thought, you know, what a better way to celebrate than hearing from your peers. Their trials, their tribulations, their successes, and maybe little tips along the way. So I would like to, without further ado, introduce our moderator today, Miss Judy Casperson. I had the honor of not working with her. She was right before I was on town council. She's a former council member and a wonderful businesswoman and a wonderful mentor to me. So I was very excited when she agreed to moderate this event. She could have easily have been on this panel with all the knowledge that she has. So thank you, Judy. So Judy Casperson is the principal of Casperson Consulting, LLC, focusing on executive coaching, thought leadership, change management, and financial acumen. Her life's work demonstrates her commitment to community leadership, education, human services, financial empowerment, and advocacy. From an early age, she sought opportunities to volunteer with orphans and worked with the Girl Scouts for community impact initiatives to feed the unhoused or economically challenged. She is a trailblazer who is the first person of color elected to West Hartford Town Council, where she served as chair of the Human Services Committee. She considered that role, which she served for 8 years, in honor and responsibility. She enjoyed impacting economic development and quality of life decisions while on town council. Today's Judy's professional career centers on business leadership coaching and inspiring others through keynote speaking. Judy has a unique acumen to identify and champion solutions for small business ownership, entrepreneurship, wealth creation, and philanthropy for community impact, illustrated by her deep engagement in working in women-focused organizations such as Women's United, where there's a focus on financial literacy. Judy believes having a foundation of financial knowledge and empowerment can change families and have generational and societal impact. She currently serves on the University of Hartford's Women's Advancement Initiative Chair of Finance, the University of St. Joseph Women's Leadership Center Vice Chair, and served as the 2022 co-chair of the Power of the Purse. In 2021, sponsorship chair and steering committee member of Connecticut Women's Council, membership co-chair and Easter Seals with past board roles with YMCA Hartford, Hartford region, Aurora Foundation for Women and Girls, the Bridge Family Center, the Playhouse on Park, the West Hartford Schools Improvement Committee, and the Children's Law Center. She is a member of DEI groups Tider and DISC and Key Bank African Heritage Group. Judy graduated from Parks College. She also attended Boise State University, University of Maryland, Germany, where she studied international business. And I can't pronounce the last part that you put in here, but I think that tells you enough about who we have today, who's moderating this, and all of these wonderful women up here who have the same sort of bio to share with us today. So without further ado, enjoy your panel.
Thank you, Adrian, for that kind introduction, although a little long for me. So again, Judy Casperson, and it's my absolute pleasure to have all of you here today. Welcome to West Hartford's Women's Month, just a celebration of women. It's something that we have never done before, a women's only event, and I just champion West Hartford, the town of Farmington, Adrian, Kristen Gorski, and Explore Farmington for allowing us to all be here today. I also extend a warm welcome to all of our panelists. You will be thrilled to hear all of the engagement and the experience and the knowledge and best practices that they're going to share with us today. Today, we do embark on a journey of understanding, connectivity, to learn these things is also to connect with each other. That's what's amazing about these opportunities. And so before we commence, allow me to outline our days. We're going to have a 2-minute introduction so that everyone can share a little bit about themselves and their bios. And then we're going to come back, and there's our questions designed for each person to be able to share in their specific level of expertise. And they'll each have 5 minutes. And then after that round, we have more questions that we've also received from the audience. And we'll go through those. And after that, we'll have questions and answers if we have more time. All right? But again, thank you all for being here. We are truly honored that you chose to spend this morning with us. So first of all, I would like to ask Denise to share with us, and then we'll come down the line.
Can you hear me? Yes. I always hate being the first one because I never know if the mic is on, so thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Denise Whitford. I didn't grow up in the area. I came here from Pennsylvania, and I grew up on a farm in an agricultural community. I started my career in banking and moved then after 15 years in banking into economic development, helping businesses relocate, helping the community create vibrant jobs and wonderful walkable communities. And that career took me vacillating between private industry and public service. And so my current role is with the Connecticut Economic Development Center. I spend my career helping women and men and veterans and minority-based businesses as some of our top priorities. And so we help them bring their concept to commercialization. What that means is you have an idea, how do you begin to develop that product or service, and where do you take it? There's also a time where we work with folks to pivot and either sell their business or unfortunately close it. The number one reason people come to see me is capital. They need money, grants, loans, investments. And I don't just write the checkbook because I don't have the ability to write that checkbook. I'd probably bounce about from here to maybe Florida and back. All joking aside, I think what we try to look at is the analysis. We help keep your feet on the ground and help you make good decisions about what it takes to get your business started and grow or pivot. During COVID, for example, there was no such thing as a 7 or 8 hour day. It was a 12 to 15 hour day, 7 days a week. I'm not complaining and I'm not bragging, but it was the right thing to do because I'm in public service. The PPP and EIDL loans, some of you may know, you may have taken advantage of those, and rightfully so, to survive and thrive. And one of the most important things that I've done in my career is work with women. And why I say that is because it's closing that gender gap. And although I'm a public servant at this time, I take that seriously. Women do earn approximately 80 cents on every dollar. And I think about that in terms of your opportunities to get into business. And so without going any further into that, I'm delighted to be here because I'd like to share more about my story as we go through this. And I'm so delighted to be here with the rest of these wonderful women. So thank you.
Hello. Hi. Good morning, everyone. My name is Grecia Ludena. I'm the owner and COO of Cora Cora restaurant here in West Hartford. I'm originally from Peru. I came here when I was 18 years old, and ever since my parents, they started the restaurant in 2011. And ever since, I've learned everything about running the business in the front of house. But then I started to get more involved in learning the laws because my parents, they didn't speak English. So it was up to me to understand the laws regarding the Department of Labor, regarding payroll, regarding financial decisions. And it was me who was sitting at those meetings with the accountants, sitting at those meetings with important people who I didn't know who they were, but it was me who was doing that. And it was hard at the beginning, but I understood that if I was me doing that, I needed to find resources. And that's how I came to the city or here of West Hartford, to the town, and I met Kristen. And she showed me that there was more out there for small businesses. And that's how I found out about joining that Chamber of Commerce here in West Hartford and finding networking and mentorship. And that's when the pandemic hit. During 2020, when my sister started to take a lead on the kitchen and me in the front of the house, we were lucky because we had that relationship with the town, and I was able to find the resources and was able to find like the PPP loans, the grants, and those were the things that enable us to keep going. Because if we're waiting for those grants, we maybe will be closed today. And we were lucky in a sense because my whole family is in the restaurant. We, of course, had to close, but we have to let everybody go. But at the same time, we have like the support from the community. We saw an opportunity during the pandemic. If you know, Cora Cora is located in a former McDonald's building. So there used to be a drive-thru that we didn't use in the past. But during the pandemic, we saw an opportunity, and we noticed that people wanted to buy food because restaurants were considered an essential business. So what we did was started to use the drive-thru and sell more like combos for family, since people needed to feed their family. So we saw an opportunity and started to do that. And then after that, a lot of things have happened. We've been named Restaurant of the Year in Connecticut. Thank you. And, you know, as Peruvians and as immigrants, to be representing our community here in West Hartford and the whole state, we are so proud because it shows that this community can support you. And if you just find ways and find the people, the right people as you today here, you are going to get to places that you even don't know about. For me, to be here today, sometimes it's hard because I'm a shy person, but I remember when I started, I was afraid because I didn't see anybody who looked like me. And I wish I saw a person who was like me. So I'm doing this because maybe there's somebody out there who's scared to do it. Believe me, I'm nervous. It's not easy, but at the same time, it's just like, we have to do it. We have to do it because we can, and we have to do it because there are so many things that we are able to accomplish. And I'm so happy to have this opportunity. Thank you.
Good morning. Delighted to be here and really excited to be back in West Hartford. So I'm Andrea Hawkins. I am the CEO and founding partner of Leading Culture Solutions. And also, along with my husband, Doug, we own 3 cafes, one in Glastonbury, Berkins Blend Cafe, and 2 in Hartford, Berkins on Oak Street, near the state capitol, and Berkins on Main, which is currently located at the Hartford Public Library. This is not fake gray hair, it's really real. My husband and I have opened these businesses in the last 9 years. And so we've kind of come to being entrepreneurs sort of late in life. But I raised my daughter here in West Hartford. So I did all of this once she was away and in college. But we lived on Thomas Street here for many years. And this West Hartford feels like home to me. So I'm now living east of the river. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I moved. I did not drown people. Crossing the river is not that bad. And they are trying earnestly to be a West Hartford, so that's making it bearable. No, just joking, Glastonbury people. It's delightful. It's wonderful to be in a town that is, it is a suburban town, but it does remind me a lot of being in West Hartford. So I'm delighted to be back here. But I came to running my consulting business by doing almost every job in corporate America. So get ready. I've worked at Aetna, Cigna, MassMutual, The Hartford, United, Optum, Prudential, and TIAA-CREF. I did every job from accounting to product development to marketing to operations to IT development. You name it, I put my hands on it at some time. I like to tell people I created my own adult rotation program. And that's because I'm just a curious person. I love to learn. And I am probably going to open, Denise, get ready for this, a couple of more businesses before it's all said and done because I do have some ideas. So I'm just really delighted to be here. And I hope if you learn nothing just from this quick little intro is don't be afraid to try. Chase your dream. There's nothing that's stopping you. What's the worst that can happen? You learn some things and then you do some new things. So thank you for letting me be here today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Pinar. I'm a former journalist. I worked in the media more than 15 years in Europe. They are CNN Group and Bloomberg Networks. And we moved to America in 2014 when I was 40 years old with 3 kids, just 5 luggage. We landed to Boston and we said, what are we gonna do here? You know, because as an immigrant, it's sometimes, I think for the first generation it's really hard to create a life in here. I remember we were outside at the airport with luggages and my kids, they were 2, 3, and 13 at that moment. We said, okay, let's do this. We came here, we left everything. I was living like a princess life in media. I was going to work with a chauffeur. I had assistants. I was leading 100 people, and I started to do my own laundry. And my mom always says, that was the thing, you know, it's karma. She's always, no, it's karma, karma. And we tried to live in Boston first, and then it was so expensive because we were spending our own pocket money. We brought everything here. And then my husband searched a place, and he put his finger and he said, hey, let's see, there's an area, Farmington Valley. It's diverse, people are nice, educated, no much crime, you know, like here. We will move there. And one day, Saturday, we put the kids, came to A1. You know, I remember the cafe that we sat, and we said, okay, we love it here, we will move. We find a house. And we were trying to do what we have to do, and we searched again. We decided to do an embroidery and screen printing business because my husband is a really good researcher, and he said, you know, not much in this area, but we can do this. I was thinking it's going to be so easy because at the same time we were learning English because after Turkish, I studied German. My husband learned French, and English was the third one. And I was thinking it's going to be easy. I know coding, I know designing, I know publishing, I know marketing. How hard can be? I just didn't, realize the embroidery machines use threads and needles, not inks. You cannot use Adobe Photoshop to do something. And it was really, struggling couple of years, and then hit COVID. But we survived because God sent me an angel. She's sitting there. One day she came in and she said, hey, how can I help you? How can I support you? This is what she does every daily. And that changed our mind, and we started to belong to community because we didn't know until Rose came in. And, belonging to community, finding, creating friendships, helping church, schools, supporting fundraisers, going to a meeting. If I talk too much, just stop me because, it's been 9 years for me to be on the stage. And then it made a change, and we started to learn how to run, how to tax, how to do everything, the paperwork, because even though if you know something, it doesn't matter. You are learning. If you go to another country, you are learning from the scratch. It's a blank page. You are like a 10-year-old child. And when you are behind the cashier, people are seeing you like, you're an embroidery person. Who do you think you are? I don't want to judge, but we had really struggled with some of the women especially. They were coming me telling how strong and powerful women they are. And when I tell this, they are like, I'm sure. Yeah. And I think it's going really good. We have good customers, hospitals, schools. We are there for like 8 years. And then last year, I said, hey, I'm going to do something that I know very well. Because even though when I was working in media, I changed a couple laws for working women rights in Turkey. That's why I came here with a very special O1 visa system is giving this to only Nobel Prize winners or scientists. And I said, this country gave me a safety, happy place for my kids. We came, overly documented, but still we were an immigrant. And one woman changed my vision and perspective. One day someone came in and she said, I want to do this embroidery monogram stuff. I said, okay, perfect. She said, I don't want to sell this. I don't want to sell this because this store is selling this person. I said, okay, I will help you. She said, do you know what I'm doing? I said, I don't know. I'm preparing outlooks for power woman. You don't know, you don't get it. I said, okay. I said, just hang in there. I was that power woman when I was in Europe. So I understand what you mean. So sometimes I had people like Rose to change my life, but sometimes there are other women trying to trick you and judging you because if you have accent, you are stupid for some people. And I said, no, I'm not going to throw out F-bombs here, but you feel my feeling. I said, I'm gonna change some things and I will help women who is behind the cashier or doing professional stuff and no one listens to them. They don't try to even understand their story. They only focus to Kardashians and other people. They can invest most money because they are celebrity, but we are the ones here who is making the money and economy, supporting our family, putting the bread. And I started my job, SheWork, in October. It was on soft launch. My first interview was Rose, my angel. And then I think last couple months, more than 80,000 people read my interviews, read my content. And now, without selling anything, I'm supporting women like you because I'm sharing your stories. Now I'm receiving emails, they are asking me how much you charge for a feature, how much you charge. It's zero, because you cannot sell journalism. This is what I learned, and this is my giving back project to America to support my fellow friends. Yeah, I have 2 businesses. I'm making from one of them and spending money to the other one.
So, an amazing panel, correct?
Yeah.
So as you see, the depth of knowledge and experience is very great. And we're going to go back to Pinar, because you did found 2 companies. What led you, so it's Happiness Inc. and SheWork. So both seem very, very different. Why, what drew you to both? You shared a little bit, but what drew you to both, and how do you manage that?
For the Happiest, I had a friend in Orlando. She was doing similar thing. She was a Turkish lawyer before she came here. She said, you know what, this is the thing people need. You can do it. I went and I visited her. And I saw stuff and I said, maybe I can do it. I got so excited because I love all the colors. I have lots of Pantone catalogs, even I don't do graphic design. I love all the threads, materials, fabric. I said, this is gonna make me happy because I cannot find a job in corporate because of language barrier. I said, when I'm learning, I can create something small and learn. And we invested every single penny that we have to these industrial machines. And we were believing ourselves. We said, we are going to learn this. That wasn't easy. But, you know, we learned it. It's going great. But on the other hand, that I mentioned a few minutes ago, I saw the struggle because it was hard for me to explain who I am. What I know, I have published 5 books. I was making TV shows daily in Turkey, like Oprah, and then I was doing embroidery and fixing some stuff there. You can see my hands now. And I said, no. If I have this story, there are many others. That's my purpose. You know, I believe in research in me first. I researched me in 8 years, and I said I will give it back because if I need this, there are many other women need this.
So what challenges do you find balancing the separate enterprises?
Yeah, because I'm so creative. So now, for example, I want to run and write about this event. But I have lots of other responsibilities, waiting customers, and I have to do designs. What I do is daytime, I'm helping my family business. And I go home, feed the kids, and I set my computer until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. to code and design and write for SheWork. And every weekend, every evening. That's how I do the balancing.
And you don't see any plans for monetizing that in the future?
That's the problem. I don't want to ask any money for any content, but I'm working on it. Because I'm from the ads that I am a part of big media group right now. They got my resume, they saw the interviews, they wanted to. It's helping. Yeah, it will go there.
Because once you realize how much value you're adding, it's very important to capitalize on that and monetize that. And that's something that women don't do often enough. In my 25 years of banking career, I sort of going down the line and relating to everyone who has a story here. And in my life, I won't tell you how old I am, but I've done so many of those things, including living in another country and starting my own business and having to go through the language barriers of living in Germany for 9 years following a military husband. But, seeing these journeys, you can see yourself in them and how can we overcome here. But really, how can we find the access that we need to capital and really earn what we're worth? So Andrea, we also have a common theme here that women can do it all. And as you've shared a little bit earlier, you've done a lot already. So you and your husband own the Berkins cafes, which I have visited, all of them. But you also own a consulting firm, Leading Culture Solutions. So tell us about your journey into consulting and also your key to balancing your multiple businesses.
So my first love is problem solving. I love complex problems. I love to fix things. I love to make things better. And when I say I like to fix things, like that's literally and figuratively. So I am a crafter. I have a Cricut machine. I'm on it probably weekly, and I make silly gifts for friends. You may have something. Judy and I go back a little bit too. And so, I in organizations, right, I want people to feel like they want to get out of bed and that they want to go do the work and be really excited about what they're doing every day. And that takes a certain leadership team, right? That takes a certain way that we all get up and walk into an office or into our employment wherever we are. And so I pursued my master's degree in organizational behavior from the University of Hartford, right here in West Hartford and Bloomfield. I don't know which town, but I think both. Because I wanted to do that. I wanted to lean into understanding what would make somebody get out of their warm, cozy bed and go to work every day and really love it and give not just what they're being asked to do, but even more, right? And innovate for that company. And so, having done all of the different jobs over the course of my career, there are not many problems I haven't seen. I've managed teams across the globe, so I've worked across many time zones with teams. I've hired hundreds of people and leaders over the course of my career in these large organizations. I've been part of a number of boards of directors, so I've seen the nonprofit side of the world. And there's one thing that I know, that we all live in a system. If you believe that you can be on this planet by yourself, succeeding by yourself, you're fooling yourself. We are all connected to each other. We're all connected to one another's success as well. So I believe that. So every time I meet someone, I think about what can I do to serve them? How can I help them? Because we don't all have the same dream. So I don't have to worry about what you want to do and how you want to thrive, because you don't have my dreams and I don't have your dreams. So how about I just help you achieve your dreams, right? And how about we just partner together on that and figure out how to do that for one another? And so that's what really drives me when I think about leading culture solutions. That's a very intentional name. I want every person in an organization to feel like a leader. If you feel like a leader, you're going to bring that into the culture. If you are a leader that brings that kind of, those ideas into a culture, those solutions are going to make that organization thrive. So every time I think about the name of our company, I'm reminded about our own personal responsibility to partner with each other, to help each other thrive, and help each other be our best self. Because that is what it is about. In work, at home, in our communities, that's what it's about. So that's what really drives me. Now, balancing the cafes and the consulting business, my husband is the hero on the cafe side, truly. He does like 95% of everything. I jump in, I throw an apron on every now and again. I do some marketing once in a while. We're actually hiring people now. If you have marketing expertise, talk to me afterward. I'm trying to get myself out of that business too. And I think I would finally say none of the businesses happen without capable people around us. We're two humans. We cannot run 4 businesses by ourselves. So we need people that understand what we're doing and want to do what we're doing. I had an unfortunate situation occur on Monday. We hired someone last week that we hired to have a particular job. And when she started doing what she wanted to do. And we said, okay, you were hired to do this. She's like, I know, but my expertise is this, and I want to do this. So I had to say to her, I'm sorry, we can't keep you in this job because we need someone to do the job we've hired them to do. And that was a tough decision to have to make. But that's sometimes what you have to do when you're balancing all the things, because it is all about having the right team. So that's what we do.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because it really does, it takes a team, but everyone doing their part. So thank you for sharing. And now, So, Grecia, it's been a whirlwind year, and you've had some great accomplishments. You shared a little bit earlier about how you survived the pandemic. But one of the things we want to hear is, how are you successful today, and how are you you're being able to balance your family and growing the business continually, and being that next level as you have reached this year?
Yes, and as Andrea mentioned, it is important first to find a talent, because it isn't easy. And as many as you are here today, if you are in the restaurant industry, it's not easy to find those people who have the same vision as you. Of course, it comes from you to show them what you want them to do, but being in a hospitality business is not for everyone, because you have to understand to deal with customers, with your employees. For me, for example, with my family, because that was a fight that we always had. But during the pandemic, and when my sister started to lead the kitchen and me at the front, we decided that we needed to sit down and have a meeting with the whole family, because my dad had an idea. My mom had a different version of the business for herself. My brothers, they were also involved, and they had a different idea as what we did. So we decided to do a rebranding during the pandemic to help us understand what we wanted to do in the future. And that's something that, now that I think about it, it was like the best decision ever, because during the pandemic, it came our first nomination for semifinalists for the James Beard Foundation, which is like one of the most important industries, foundations here in the United States that celebrates the culture in the culinary industry. As Peruvians, and for us to be serving Peruvian food, when that came, we didn't know who they were. But we were ready with the branding, we were ready with the vision of who Cora Cora was. And when that came, we were nervous, because of course that meant that we were stepping into a new level that we didn't even know it was possible, because when my parents started the restaurant, they only wanted to do the restaurant for us to have a better education, to have better access to other things, because my dad, of course, wanted us to study other things, to be lawyers, to be doctors, but they never expected us to stay in the restaurant. But they gave us the opportunities to have access to education, and that's something that it was important for me, because I was able to go to the University of Hartford to take English classes. I went to UConn to do some accounting, some economic, but I saw that, of course, I could finish college, but I decided to stay in the business because I saw everything that was happening, and they needed my help. My sister, she was leading the kitchen, but she doesn't like, dealing with meetings or going to meet with the accountant, and she didn't understand those terms. So they needed somebody to do it. So it was me who had to do all of it. But something that I think has put us in this new level was definitely consistency. That's something that my mom always told us, we have to keep the same recipe, and we haven't changed anything. Like the flavors of the restaurant, if you've been there before, we keep the same recipes as to what my mom started, because she was the one in the kitchen when we started, like when we opened in 2011. During the pandemic, my sister took the lead, but she didn't change anything, just, making sure that we were following the recipe, following the ratios, because when you train people, it is hard. They listen to you once, but they will be doing what they want, and you have to continue the training. You have to continue and keep telling them that keep doing it, because we depend on this. If we close for some reason, it just won't be like, oh, it's just my family who wouldn't have a business. It's the whole community that we have been able to support, offering jobs. And then during the first nomination for the James Beard, of course, we didn't know who they were, but at the same time, it was like a blessing for us, because a lot of restaurants were struggling, but that recognition, it only showed that we were doing something great. And for me, for example, it showed that my parents, what they started, needed for me to keep doing the way we're doing. So another nomination came into 2022. Again, finalists, no, we were semi-finalists for James Beard Outstanding Restaurant again. And we were like, what is happening? Like, why is this happening to us? My mom, to this day, she doesn't understand why this is happening. But like I mentioned, it is the consistency. And people see it. People understand that if you go today, you're going to have to try the same food as you tried it like 2 weeks ago. And this year, again, for the third year in a row, we have a nomination for Outstanding Restaurant. And we are in the, thank you. We are in this industry where serving food for others is just, it warms our heart because we've always been in this business. When I was growing up in Peru, my mom was always selling food at the house. Like there was always people in our home. And when we ate together at the table, my dad always had like an empty seat for somebody because he always had a friend who came to the house who didn't have anybody and they sit at the same table with us and we share the same experiences. And I think that's something that we are doing today at the restaurant because we understand that people come to the restaurant to celebrate. Whatever what is happening in their lives, if they're celebrating birthdays or anniversaries, or like they just come because they want to enjoy their meal. And we see that every day, and like to understand that we are a force in a sense, and we can support them just by giving them food and an awesome experience, it just feels great.
Thank you so much. And if you have not yet been to Cora Cora, I highly advise it. It is delicious. And when you do talk about consistency, right, that's something that's been a challenge since COVID. You went to restaurants, you loved the flavor, and then you went back again and you didn't have the same experience. And these days, in economic times when they're challenging, it's hard. You want to be able to support your local restaurants. And that's a gift that you're giving. In having those recipes, just that intellectual property that you're passing down through generations, that's something that you're able to bank on.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Yes.
Because at the beginning, when my mom was like, what are you going to do with your life? So because I was 18 when I got here, and she was like, you have to go to college and decide what you want to do. I was like, I wasn't sure, to be honest. I never was like, oh, do I want to be a lawyer or do I want to be an accountant? I didn't know, but all I knew was I wanted to help people. And she was like, in order to do that, you need money.
And you've done a great job in getting
So what we did it was just capitalize Cora Cora and take it to the next level.
That's so wonderful. Thank you very much for those insights. And now, Denise. So Denise, you have a wealth of knowledge with business support and startups. And we really want to understand, for those who are new to business or who are thinking of starting their own business, give us some insights as to how to launch and maintain a successful business, and how do you start with financial security? Because as a banker, you know, I lived through PPP lending, and that was a challenge. We know, for those of you who know me from before, but it was very difficult. So we'd love to hear your insights, because that's the framework, that's the foundation of what's really needed.
I would agree, and I think that, again, I'm listening to these wonderful women, and I think one of the keys is, if you're going to be starting your own business, it's going to be having the tenacity and the boldness to not take no for an answer. If someone says no, it just to me means maybe it's no today and we have to come at it from a different angle. Or having the audacity to continue to learn. And I think that when we think about the boldness that we've heard from some of these ladies here today, those are the key elements of your success. Is it might not be working quite right, but there's a great network around you. And getting that support, that's one of the things that the SBDC does. That's, again, the heart and soul of what the economic development folks do in chambers of commerce. But I think basing your decision-making in data and fact, and I know some of you might quiver the way I do when someone says data. I hated statistics and analytics when I did my master's degree, and I'm one of those non-traditional students. I had about 25 years of experience in banking and economic development and had the audacity to go back to get my master's degree. And I was terrified to be in that classroom because I thought these 20-somethings are not going to want this 45 to 50-year-old woman in their group. And quite the opposite happened. They came to me and said, you have work and life experience that we do not have. We would love you to be in the group. It still gives me goosebumps. If you can't see my gray hair, thanks, we're in the same club, is standing on end out of excitement to know that multiple generations value your knowledge, they value your tenacity, They value everything that you bring, including your sense of humor and your sense of self. Knowing who you are and knowing who you are not is going to be important. Rooting that in the data. What can I do really well? And where do I need help? And some of these ladies shared that. You're going to find another resource through your network. Mark out your network in terms of your personal and social, but also your business types of relationships. When you're networking with folks, what can they bring you? Is it additional knowledge? Or is it a connectivity to something else, someone else that can help you do your marketing, that can help you do your financials? But again, I think having a plan and a strategy is really important. If I asked everybody to raise their hand, how many parties have you planned in the past year? Is it more than 5? Well, you know, when you hire someone, it doesn't matter if they've been a stay-home mom or they come from another country. It matters that they have the skill to put a birthday party or an anniversary party together and work with the restaurant and understand that it's not just the internal things that you know, it's the relationships that you establish around you. Rooting yourself again in where you know that works and where you have gaps. Base your success and measure your success clearly. It's important what you measure, but it's also important to understand where those gaps are. And knowing the resources like SBDC, the Women's Business Center, maybe SCORE, others, ask those questions. It's okay not to know the answer, but strive, as Andrea said, to learn. I'm just like her in some ways, and I think that's why we get along so well, is I don't get out of bed and go, oh, I gotta go to work today. I get up in the morning and go, okay, who have I got? Every day is different, and that's the best part of what I do, is embracing that change. And did you ever notice when you get up in the morning and you say, it's going to be a great day, the sun is shining, and you keep saying, I am good, I am worthy, I am smart, I'm going to be productive, I'm going to look at this a different way and I'm going to bring revenue, I'm going to build new relationships, it happens. And I know that's not magic, it does take hard work, and I don't want to minimize that hard work. But I think there's one more thing that comes out of this motivation and attitude, and that's going to be being realistic. You are not going to be self-employed by working 20 hours a week and making $1 million. It's going to be the other way around. You're going to be working 60 to 80 hours a week in most cases to make minimum wage. Until you get that business and your network and your target audience and the revenue stream coming in, isn't that right? It's a lot of grit and grime, and you've got to be prepared for that. So build your network. If you've already cataloged that network, it's going to be pretty easy to go, can my family and friends help? In my social network available, or in my professional network, who are my suppliers, my vendors? I think is the number one thing, assess where you are. It's okay to be you. Does that help a little?
Absolutely, it does. Thank you. Well, I think that you raised a question, though, and a lot of women are here. And when you're thinking about networking, which is something that I hear, what is that word? What does it mean? How do we grow our networks? I'd say, you know, coming to New England, I was a stay-at-home mom with a 3-page volunteer resume when I started my banking career here. And because I had been, 12 years staying at home. Some small businesses in Germany, but still, technically, in America, stay at home. So how did I grow a network? How did I get back in the community? I think that everyone doesn't know, and when you share that, Rose Ponte or Kristen Gorski, people in the community that you can go to and help you really understand what does it mean to connect for a small business owner, even more than your local PTA if you have children in school. So do you all have a best practice for networks or how to get out there? We'll start. Please, Andrea.
So it's how I met Judy, honestly, where I was serving the Amistad Center for Art and Culture, and we met through that, and I served that organization for 25 years, and I think we met 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And so people come into your orbit that way. I also served the Hartford region YWCA there, enjoyed that and met a lot of amazing people. I was part of Leadership Greater Hartford Quest and met a bunch of amazing people through that program and have lifelong friends through it. And I think about, when I think about my network, that's what I think about, is the places where I have served, organizations where I've met some just incredibly amazing people. Also, you talked about sort of how the businesses sort of ebb and flow. So I don't know, for those of you that don't run restaurant businesses, they can have a very thin margin on them. So when I started leading Culture Solutions, it really took off, which allowed us to give back. So we found that by, this is how I did my marketing. It was sort of this double-edged situation of, when we started making enough money that we had enough to be okay in our family, and all of our employees were fairly compensated and rewarded for everything that was going well, we created the Berkins Family Fund. And that is a donor-advised fund that's managed by the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. And we raised, well, I should tell the little story. My husband bought me a diamond ring because we were doing really well, and it was gorgeous. But I felt like I'm the only person benefiting from this. I'm not really going to enjoy it. Where am I going to wear it to? Like all these questions. So we returned the ring. And we took the $50,000 and put it into this donor-advised fund. Then we raised, over the last couple of years, $25,000 more. Our goal is to raise $25,000 more. That's one of the things I want to talk to you about, Denise, when we meet. Because when it gets to $100,000, we're going to start giving out micro grants to businesses that need help starting up. Because for those of you that have started a business or tried to start a business, it's hard to get money when you're a startup. So that was just an important aspect of, to whom much is given, much is expected, and we feel that immensely.
And that's so true. There? Yes. So, yeah, that's so true. Access to capital, right? And understanding, maybe not using your personal finances, connecting with your banker, connecting with consultants to help you really get a solid foundation for building. But so we'll go back to Denise to share a little bit of, when you're talking about networking, how do you get into, what are just some of the things that you're doing, or the strategy behind networking?
Sometimes it's not so easy. I think that I heard you say that you were a little bit nervous and shy, and I think that takes practice to step outside your comfort zone. I fortunately had great mentors, both women and men, throughout my career, and they guided me. They took me along to different events. So ladies, if someone invites you to an event and you are a good networker, bring someone with you. It's so important to reach out, around, down, and up to mentor and guide. That's one way. Think about, as I said earlier, please consider mapping where your networks are. And if you put that down in writing, and you can put little bubbles of you, and then your social and professional and other types of networks that you have, and think about, again, what those folks can bring you. Everyone's on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on. Who brings you the positivity? Who can bring you knowledge? And then make it a point to try to get them. And again, there's techniques, there's tutorials. Reach out, Google it. Best ways to network on LinkedIn. There's webinars, there's things like that. But the face-to-face, since COVID, is difficult for folks to step back out into doing that networking. Coming here today is only the third event that I have done this month. Now, that to some of you might go, oh my gosh, that's 3 events in a month. But I come from a world where I'm out every day, on my way to work, sometimes for lunch, and on my way home. And balancing work-life is not easy. I don't want to cast that out, because women are still the primary caregivers everywhere we go, and we're squashed. And my husband thinks he's funny when he comes home and says, where's my dinner? And I said, it's at McDonald's. So, as all the joking aside, we do have to think about how we balance that. When I network, I had a banker come to me one time, a president of a bank, and say to me, sarcastically, well, you really work the room, young lady. And I said, yes, sir, I do, and I'm going to go home with leads that your people didn't get, because they're all sitting at that table. I move around, I talk to people, I give my business card out. Did I not do that with the panel today? And I think that I haven't had a chance to make it around the room. It takes courage But if you notice, women are really good at this. When someone comes up and you're talking, I did this today, I backed up. Include them. Body language means a lot. Have your cards ready. Those simple tips sometimes mean a lot. And just like when we prepare for a panel, our gracious moderator provided those questions for us. I did homework last night. I looked through those questions and thought about some of the answers, and this wasn't one of the answers I had thought about. But it's really important for you to understand that comfort doesn't just automatically beam in. You've got to try it, and if you're nervous about it, it's okay to say, I'm nervous. I'm not comfortable. This is my first time. Most likely, 99% of the time, someone's going to say to you, it's okay, come on, let's do it. So the network part of this, network up. Please don't stay in your clique. Say to somebody, if you're on this table, I'm going to go and get a drink. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Make sure on your way in you meet somebody new. Try to step outside your comfort zone. It'll take you into an area of the unknown, and it's really fun. It's very informative, and it can be very, very supportive. And if you ever get nervous about it, call me up. I'm happy to get out of the house. I've been with my dog for 4 years. My kids are grown. My husband's busy. So it's fun.
So that's fantastic advice. And when I think about it, a lot of us, I've seen other women in the room that I'm a part of the Connecticut Women's Council. I, as we talked about, worked with United Way and the YWCA. So we have luncheons, in the company of women, Power of the Purse, where you can get in a room with like-minded women who really want to help you. We say, in a lot of the groups when I'm on membership, I say no mean girls allowed. I'm sorry. If you aren't there to help other women stand on your shoulders, then why are we here? Because men are doing it all the time, every day. And when we talk about their networks and their clubs, that's why we created our own. And so one of the things I would like to ask Pinar, as we wrap up our panelists, is how, and you shared a little bit about it earlier, just your investment in empowering women and making opportunities for them. So how important is it to empower women in the business world? And what continues to empower you?
I think it is vital because what I believe is if you touch a woman's life, you touch her family's life. That's the key. And when even I was working in media, I tried to always hire women. I never asked them how to do life, work balance, or I really tried to treat them as men because I want all the young women, young girls, to learn how to survive, how to negotiate, and how to ask for their value. Still, my team from 2 media groups on WhatsApp, they ask me questions every day. Oh, I didn't get that raise. Why should I say? How do I have to do this? Do you have any idea why? Because, mostly my experience in media at that time, it was mostly men. We were trying to play in manpower. They were mansplaining us. They were trying to show how to do things, even though they were trying to teach me how to write for women. That was unbelievable. So what I did for years was just to support women so they can support other women. If we create example, it affects other people too. I think in Oscar, someone said, when I open a door, I leave it open for other women. That was, I believed in my bonds because I'm coming from a family. I had 9 cousins, all girls, and my family always supported women. My father, Turkey is a Muslim country, but I'm coming from modern side of the Turkey, and he was the one, hey, you have beautiful legs, just wear, shorter skirts. You are beautiful. Why you hide them? And, you are smart. Read this book. Listen this. So even if we touch women's life, they will be able to show their sons how to act and how to, treat the woman, and it will change the world. In our home, we treat women differently. maybe I am so sorry for my sons, but my daughter is our princess. She has every right to refuse, every right to talk, every right to do whatever she wants to do. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I learned this in my family.
Well, we thank you so much for that. Thank you all. Do we have any questions in the audience today? Yes.
I'll bring the mic over.
Hi, good morning. I'm Robin Clare. I'm the Executive Director of the Seniors Job Bank. We help mature workers find encore careers. And I also, before I did this, I was a small business owner. And Pinar, you touched on my question. And that is, how do we get women to really value themselves and that they learn to negotiate by perhaps knowing when to walk away from the deal?
Yeah.
And so that knowing when to walk away from the deal, I think, is knowing what your value is. So it would be really great if you could talk to, and you or anyone on the panel, about women valuing themselves and their services.
Yeah. I think we are so easygoing and we feel shame about to talk money. And we don't want to ask what we deserve. I was, for years, I was telling with a proud, even it was on some of the writings, I was telling everywhere. We were talking about the same thing with my friend yesterday. I was telling everywhere because I never applied to a job in my life. Always companies found me. And I always told them, you decide. Because I work so hard, they always saw. But now I'm thinking, going back, I should ask what I deserve. They treat me good. They helped me, all the company benefits, they're very good. I'm talking about Europe. But I never ask, what I deserve, and it has to change. And I came here, I worked, beside Happiest and before this, because we need to buy a house and no one lended us a mortgage. And they said, you are an immigrant, you have green card now, just wait for citizenship, because they wanted to see a payroll. And I worked for a company for a couple years just to buy a house, even though I didn't tell them, they saw my value, but I started to teach the other woman, ask this. Don't feel ashamed. When I look back, I think my family was hard worker, and they never ask money for other people. Can I borrow this? Can I? And I learned that I have to, work so hard, and it's a shame to ask money. This is a key. I think we are teaching our kids. Okay, don't talk about money. Don't ask this, some things to other people. No, we should teach our girls and for ourselves, we deserve this. If a man talks about this, we have to ask the same thing, because industries, the companies, they are always thinking man is the provider, so they have to give him more money than us, but we are equal. I don't care if I have 3 kids or if I'm cooking at home or doing laundry. I deserve the same amount of money with a man who is doing the same thing. I just published, you can read it on my website, a research. Even after graduation, it's a fact, it's an academical research. Girls are signing for their, dealing their first jobs, I think less, $35,000 less than a boy, exactly the same position, same status, same economical or education level, they sign for less because they are girls.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm going to say, no, I have a completely different perspective on that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, just a short one, and then we'll take another off.
For sure. So first of all is to make sure you understand the market. What is the market rate for what you're doing? Because if you don't have that information, then you're not putting yourself in a good position to even negotiate. The internet has, rate.com is a website you can go to, payscale.com. There's a bunch of different websites that will give you this information. I'm sure ChatGPT now probably has this information too. So use your resources that are at your fingertips. And then also, I know for myself, even when I was, applying for jobs, let's say, for example, I would use my network. So if I knew someone inside the company, I would say, can you please find out for me? It's also helpful to have friends in HR. So I belong to the Human Resources Leadership Forum. So if you're not part of an HR network, you should become a part. It's good for everyone to be part of an HR network, because then you can find out, what was the last person paid to do this job? What is the rate, what is the range? Like, a lot of times they'll tell you, they might not tell you what the exact salary is, but they'll tell you what the range is. So use your network, find out who's in that company, if it's a company job, or what else is being paid for that. So again, use your network, find out, know what the right rate is so that you can negotiate for yourself fairly.
Do we have any other questions from the audience?
I'm just going to touch on it really quickly. They both had really great ideas. The only thing that I would supplement on that question is, it's not always about the paycheck. Sometimes it's about the benefits and the quality of life. Is there a flexible work schedule? So along with doing the research in terms of what the salary ranges are out there, keep in mind that you are more than just a earner. You are a provider, and you need quality of life. So please keep those things in mind when you look at your value.
Thank you all for being here today and for offering this valuable information. I guess we have one more question.
I just want, I think I have to be a show-off, because I have a great company, Pizzazz, but when I was a little girl, I was bullied with an accent. Unfortunately, I went for elocution lessons because I was brought up in the north end of Hartford after my parents came here from the Holocaust. So this was very inspiring. All of you, I could even cry, because I'm proud of all women in business. So I just wanted to write a little note to all of you. Keep making a difference, and let's all work together, because sometimes women are hard on each other. And I do go to your restaurant.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's very touching.
Okay, really, I appreciate all of you. And you. And Rose, if it wasn't for Rose Ponte, I wouldn't be here.
Well, thank you everyone for being here today. Thank you to Pinar, Andrea, Grecia, and Denise, and Judy. That was great. Who feels inspired today? I do. I want to again thank Rose Ponte from Farmington, Kristen Gorski, and Lauren Siegel from the Town of West Hartford's Economic Development Department, and all of you for being here today. As you can see, women have power, and these women have taken this time out of their day, and thank you for taking the time out of your day, because I know that you guys are busy as well. But being here, your presence empowers them, and they're empowering you. So always remember that. And we have to work hard, we know that, as women. But we have to collaborate, empower, inspire each other every single day to get this work done, because we have it in us, and they know we do. So again, thank you to WHCI today for having this on live stream. We have resource table back here. If you want to exchange your cards, the panelists have left their information back here. Please feel free to come and talk to them if you'd like to. And don't forget, we have my CT Savings back here representative to help you out. So thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you next year. I am going to guarantee this room's going to be full next year after you guys go out and make sure you bring somebody with you. So thank you to all the panelists. You guys have inspired me today. Thank you for all the work that you do. Thank you for continuing to uplift women and everyone out there, our daughters, our sons, our husbands, our wives, and everyone else. So thank you, and have a great day, everyone.